So today we're gonna be reacting to the Dr. Disrespect situation. Is disgusting.
You know how we run things here. Feeling a little fatigued. Shit like this happens over the weekend.
Well, guys, it's happened again. It seems like clockwork these days. Once every month or two, a big content creator is exposed for being a terrible, no-good person. And this month, I think we've hit our quota a few times already. Now, if you've spent any amount of time on the internet whatsoever over the last week or so, or if, you can read because I put it in the title, you're already going to know what this video is about. Now, like I said, this really all started about a week ago, so I'm a little bit late to the party, but I have my reasons for that. One of them being that for the last week I have been exploring the beautiful state of Washington, which if you followed my Instagram, you would know that already. Not saying you have to or anything, but if you don't, we are going to be making fun of you. But that's not important. What is important, though, is that on June 21st, the biggest social media bomb of the year dropped. And it dropped hard. A former Twitch employee blew up Twitter and really the internet as a whole by tweeting out a tweet implying that Dr. Disrespect, one of the biggest streaming names in the world, was banned off of Twitch years ago for sexting a minor on the platform. Now, if you had no idea any of this was happening, if you have no idea who Dr. Disrespect is, don't worry. That's actually probably a good thing. I'm going to try and give a very brief rundown of what's led to all this. Like I said,
me personally, bro, if I would have witnessed this, bro, I would have tried to find this guy. And beat the jack everlasting heck out of this guy, bro. If that's just me personally, but what would y'all do if y'all witnessed it? Let me know in the comments. I'll be responding.
Brief, so a lot is going to be left out. But Dr. Disrespect, aka Herschel Guy Beam, is one of the biggest streamers in the world. Well, I guess not so much these days, really, but back in like 2018 to 2020, the guy was huge. Even if you've never heard of him, if you're in that gaming sphere, you've probably at least seen him. He's well known for wearing this costume while he streams, and back in 2020, while the guy was absolutely killing it on Twitch, he was banned completely out of the blue with no reason given. This was a pretty big deal. Twitch came in out of left field and banned a person who was making them millions of dollars a year and gave no explanation as to why they did it. So, as you can probably imagine, this caused a lot of speculation. Now, I've never really been a big Twitch viewer, so I can't say this for certain, but I don't think that the running theory during this time was that Dr. Disrespect was pulling a Dr. Diddy. However, over the last couple of days, some stuff has come to light, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Today, we are going through the big events that have led us to Dr. Disrespect's public response to this situation, which is literally the worst thing that I have ever read in my entire life. I don't mean it as a joke when I say that the way that Dr. Disrespect chose to respond to all this genuinely could not be worse. So sit back and relax and prepare for a lot of reading, because basically all of this unfolded on Twitter. Yippee. Let's begin. Please subscribe. So like we talked about earlier, all of this started when a former Twitch employee named Cody Connors went to Twitter and made this tweet. He got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. No one made the wrong decision. Fuck him and his boys. Now, as you can see, there's no name mentioned in this tweet. So really, what I think the true catalyst to all of this blowing up was when the popular news Twitter account guy Jake Lucky made this tweet. A former Twitch employee has come forward and stated the alleged reason for Dr. Disrespect's permanent Twitch ban being for sexting a minor in the previous Twitch Whispers product. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not 100% sure how Jake Lucky and how other people knew that this tweet was referring to Dr. Disrespect. This could be because, like I said, I don't really watch Twitch, so I could be missing out on some context here, or I'm just stupid Not sure. Time will tell. But Jake Lucky rightfully assumed that this tweet was about Dr. Disrespect, and the internet, as you would expect, went bonkers. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, one of the reasons I'm just now talking about this is because I couldn't until now. I was unable to record, but another reason was because I don't really like when people take stuff like this and they just run with it. At this point, the only evidence that had been brought forward was, a tweet. Something that literally anybody can do, where they can say literally anything they want. Now, given
But
the
that's also
context,
true. A
I
lot of
guess this
people
was a
can
somewhat
just
more
make up
trustworthy
tweets.
source than just a random person on Twitter, so I can kind of understand why so many people saw this and ran with it. But the problem with stuff like this is that the average Twitter user has the reading comprehension skills of a 6-year-old. So they
Yeah,
don't
that's
see
true.
that the original tweet has no evidence whatsoever, and they don't see that Jake Lucky or Dexerto or any of the other guys who just stir the fucking pot professionally, no hate by the way, that's my job too, are saying alleged and accused. They're not saying, we know this guy did this, you should hate him now. But of course, that's
Yep.
what people do anyways. Now, as we're going to get to later, this turned out to not be a problem. It was all deserved, but a lot of the times, it's not. So even though it would make me a lot more money, I don't like to just immediately jump on the biggest thing when something like this hits the internet, because it can be extremely damaging to people's lives. Anybody can call you a predator. Anybody can say you did anything. The fact that the internet jumps on these things so quickly and it spreads like a wildfire with no evidence whatsoever, it's a
That's
problem.
true.
But that's really a big discussion
But
for
also,
another video entirely there.
you
Just wanted to get
can't,
my piece
you
in though. But
shouldn't.
as
If
discussed, once
that
Jake
is
made
true
this tweet,
about
stuff really
it
started
not
to
really
ramp
being
up pretty
true,
quickly.
that's
So
not
about an
cool
hour
to.
after this tweet was made,
That's
Dr.
not really
Disrespect responded to
cool
Jake with a
to
tweet that
fake
really,
to
really
lie
set
about
shit
something
off.
like
Jake,
that.
seriously,
About
I get
something
it.
like
It's a
that,
hot
'cause something
topic,
like
but this has
that's
been settled. No
really
wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole
really
contract. Yeah, so, evidence or
really
not, responding to
serious and
allegations saying that you're Dr. Diddler by saying no wrongdoing was acknowledged, yeah, that's not a good look there, pal.
because something lying about something like that is like really serious. That can really ruin somebody's life.
To not include anything to the tune
That's not
of,
really
I
cool
don't
if
know,
it's true
I did
about
nothing wrong, or
if that's
no,
not
I
true.
was not talking to a child. Yeah, that's a choice, for sure. Fortunately for Dr. Disrespect, though, it seems like somebody on his team informed him of this, or he just saw the thousands of tweets dogpiling him for saying this, because the next day he tweeted something out that is a little bit more what you would expect somebody to say in a situation like this one. Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can say since this is the fucking internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled, and nothing illegal, no wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring Monday. The classic put something at the end of your response to make it seem like you're not really taking this whole thing seriously technique. I like it, Doctor. Now, when I first saw this tweet, I went through 2 stages of thinking. At first, I was like, okay, you know what? This seems a little bit more convincing. Maybe that Twitch employee just got bored and he wanted to do something stupid. Who knows? Let's wait for more evidence. And then I read it again, and I really paid attention to the words he chose to use. What really stood out to me specifically is the part where he says, all of this has been probed and settled, nothing illegal was found. When I really read this, and I took a second to think about it, I was like, holy shit. This guy basically just admitted to doing what he was accused of. Nowhere in this tweet does he say, I was not talking to a minor. He says, I didn't do anything wrong. They looked through this, and they couldn't find anything illegal. If you weren't ever talking to anybody, there's nothing to probe through. If the person you were talking to is somebody that it's okay for you to be talking to, there's no wrongdoing to be looked for. Now, I don't know if Dr. Disrespect meant to do this. Like, I'm not sure if he was cognizant of what this tweet implies the way he worded it. I've got to think that he was, but at the same time, I don't know why he would tweet this. Regardless, though, this is when things really started to get bad for the doctor. During his next stream that following Monday, a few key things happened. For the most part, he didn't really address any of the allegations. He said something like, I don't give a fuck about the guy, referring to the person who said all this, but that was basically it. But later in the stream, he got some sort of message on his phone that changed his demeanor for the rest of the stream. A lot of people are speculating this was him getting notification from his gaming studio that they were going to be parting ways from him, but obviously, nobody knows. Whatever he saw, though, it made him want to end the stream stream because just a few minutes later he started to abruptly close things out, said he was going on an extended vacation, he's burnt out, wants to be away from it all, and sort of implied that he was ready to quit streaming. He also talked about wanting to step away from his gaming studio Midnight Society, which may have been damage control because he already knew they were cutting ties with him. Again, who knows? I'll let you take a look.
You know how we run things here. How we feeling, Doc? Says Roy. I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little fatigued. Feeling a little burnt out. Shit like this happens over the weekend, and it's like, how many times can I I don't like. I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that over the years, champs. I just, I've always kind of hinted like, it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? Go live in Costa Rica or something. But I'm just feeling burnt out, I think. I had the mindset of, let's just see what happens today. How are we feeling? And I'll tell you, I just, I don't know.
Buddy, you looked at a text
I'm just feeling
your phone
burnt out. But I think the first and foremost, though, is, I did have
that's what happened.
Sort of a planned vacation coming up, and I think I might just extend that starting now. One of these, let's take a step back. And to be honest, I don't know how long, I know where my vacacion, how long my vacation is, but, maybe I extend that. Champs, I'm going to call it right there. A little short one. We've accomplished some things, but I think more importantly, we need to step away. It's time to drive into the sunset, says Swervin. Whew, man, I like your style. It might be time to drive in the sunset, champs.
So as you can see, definitely weird vibes, and given the context, given what we know is going on during all this, it's pretty weird for him to act like none of this has anything to do with what he's saying. Like, okay, yeah, you're going on an extended vacation after you've been outed for talking to a minor. That just happened to line up perfectly. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. This, however, was really the beginning of the end, because not long after he ended the stream, his gaming studio, Midnight Society, released a tweet stating that they are deciding to part ways with him. In the tweet, they basically say they assumed his innocence, and after speaking to the parties involved, they decided that they needed to act, which is essentially them telling the internet they found something. Not too long after this, Turtle Beach removed all of Dr. Disrespect's merchandise from their website. They confirmed later that they did indeed cut ties with him. The next day, news articles were beginning to pop up. This was no longer just in the realm of Twitter. As these bigger companies began to take action, bigger entities started to take notice of what was going on. And then, that same day, Dr. Disrespect released his full statement on this matter, and my god, it could not be worse. Now, this is a lengthy one, but I feel like you've really got to hear every word to get the full effect, so buckle in. The Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I, and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. Now I'm going to read this whole thing before saying anything, but trust me, we're going to be circling back to that, okay? These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, and no pictures were shared, and no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by settlement. Let me be clear,
But
it was not a criminal case against
mind you,
me,
you
and no
still
criminal charges have
texted
ever been brought
the
against me. Now,
person,
from a moral
right?
standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have
You
never
did,
entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Now, with all this said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with those type of people. Fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support through all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the fucking best community and circle. If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you've always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine, but I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear? Yeah, fucking right. Okay. Lots to unpack here. First things first, I want to go back to what I said I was going to circle back to, because the way this guy decides to approach this situation, it's extremely
Actually, hold on,
telling.
before he says anything, bro, I'm gonna circle it back too. You admitted that you texted her. In the first place, you shouldn't have even been texting her in the first place. Two, you shouldn't have let it go any farther than whatever it was going. And yeah, back to what he's saying.
Were there real intentions behind these messages, saying that there wasn't? That's like the first thing you learn in the Predator Handbook. Okay, that makes it kind of sound like I've read the Predator Handbook. I haven't. But seriously, if you've ever watched To Catch a Predator, that's what all those guys say. Oh, they were just chatting. They didn't mean anything by it. They were just having fun. To say that bullshit
Even
and then
EDP
later to
said
say
that.
I'm no fucking predator, that's kind of a bold claim there, partner. You admit to entertaining inappropriate conversations with a minor. That's basically the definition. The way he's trying to direct all the focus to saying stuff like nothing illegal happened and no crimes were
EDP said
committed,
the
there were
same
never any
shit.
criminal charges, it's very telling. And then for the only thing that he says to address the morality aspect of all this to be I'm not perfect, whoopsie daisies. Yeah, this is not really an I'm not perfect kind of situation, Doctor.
Exactly.
However, I think the worst
This
part
is
of
not
all
a
this is how he
whoopsie
somehow
daisy
turns this into like a message to
situation
the
either.
haters, where he says, but trust me when I say this to all
That's
my
old.
haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. I really want to know what he means by that. Like, how does that fit into this? What does you chatting with a teenager have to do with a person having no real life experience? Do you think that people who don't spend time on Twitter
Like
would hear
what?
about this and be like, yeah, that's a cool thing to do? I mean, I really don't understand the point of adding this. I don't think anybody's
Exactly.
hating on you
Nobody's
for
just gonna be
talking
like,
to a
oh, that's a
teenager
cool thing
because
to
they're
do.
chronically online. I
That's a
think
cool
they're
thing
hating
to
on
do.
you
Yeah.
talking to a teenager because you're a
Good job,
40-something-year
buddy.
old man talking to a
Nobody's
teenager.
gonna
I hope that clears that up for
nobody's
you.
gonna
I
say
don't know if
that.
you're confused, not sure what's going on here. But this whole, like, I'm
Like
not
what?
going anywhere act, sorry to break it to you, dude, but yeah, I think you might just be. Not only is it really fucking weird to try and play the victim here, like, ooh, people want to get rid of me, ooh, I'm not going anywhere. It's like, like, okay, you're a fucking creep, you're a weirdo. Guess we can't make you go anywhere, but the people that are going to support you after this, are you aware of the kind of people they are? If you really mean what you say, if you say that everybody who knows me knows where I stand on those kinds of things and those types of people, well then, pal,
Yep.
you're not going to be a huge fan of your community once you get back. Like, I really
Yep.
don't know what you're expecting here, Doctor. Maybe you're looking through the
Yep. Your
lens of like
community
this
is gonna
normal
be
kind
all
of internet
types
drama
of
where this sort of stuff comes up where a
just
person's like, holy shit, did you guys hear
yeah.
that this random fucking Minecraft YouTuber dated a 19-year-old when they were 20? Yeah, they belong in federal prison. Like, normally that's the kind of shit that passes through this space of controversy, and you get the normal people on Twitter who are mad about that kind of stuff, where what you said about real life experience actually might apply, like where they can't understand nuance when it comes to human relationships. This is not that. You're a 42-year-old man who's admitted to entertaining inappropriate conversations with a person who's at most 17. Like, you're not gonna have an audience to come back to, man. If you do, you're not gonna want them. Or maybe you will, I don't know, you were the one messaging a minor, so I won't speak for you. I don't know about you guys, but this statement
He's
reads to
not
me
gonna
like
want
somebody
him.
basically saying, I was doing
Trust me,
something
they're
I knew
gonna
I shouldn't have been, and
beat
thankfully
him
for me and my
from the
legal
inside
standing,
out.
I was caught before it could go anywhere. I mean, seriously, this guy is 42 years old, has a wife, has a daughter. What man in that position is having conversations with a teenage girl that sometimes lean into inappropriate directions without some pretty dark intentions? You're a grown man who's a millionaire, whose job revolves around being social, with connections that most people would dream of having, and you're telling me the best companion you can find is a teenage girl on Twitch? That's all it was? Just some friendly conversations and that's all it was ever gonna be? That's really fucking hard to believe, man. Not gonna lie. Mentioning the whole no intentions thing in the first place, that's what really gets me. Because come on, guys, let's put on our thinking caps here. If you're talking to somebody about day-to-day things, would there ever be a question
EDP
about
sounding
whether or
ass,
not
nigga.
there are intentions behind those messages? No. Whether or not a message has intentions is a question only asked about very specific kinds of messages. We all know what those kinds of messages are. Again, you're outing yourself, Doctor. There shouldn't have been messages to not have intentions behind to begin with. This is just fucking gross. Now, after this response hit the internet, all the things you expect to happen happened. All the big streamers who were closely associated to Dr. Disrespect made videos saying stuff like they had no clue, they didn't know he did stuff like this, they're cutting all ties with him, they didn't even really know him that well to begin with, they weren't real friends, you know, the shit you'd expect. But I don't really care about stuff like that. I don't care about what his friends have to say. I feel like that's a silly thing to focus on. It's hardly been a day and people are already trying to shift the discussion onto other people. I've seen countless tweets of people saying, oh, so Dr. Disrespect is the bad guy, but women can show their tits on Twitch? What a double standard. And it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
both
dude,
of
you
them are
can
the
you can
bad
have your
guy.
problems with Twitch, that's fine, a lot of us do. But maybe, just maybe, could we keep the spotlight on the guy who's admitted to having inappropriate conversations with teenagers for a
Exactly.
while? You know, before we get misogynistic on the beat, could we do that just for a couple of days, maybe? I don't know, probably fucking not. If there's one thing that Dr. Disrespect got
Yeah,
right in his
these
response,
people,
it's that social media
people's
is a
attention
destruction
span
zone.
these
Not for you,
days are
Doctor. You
just
deserve it. But it's like, damn, the dude admitted to doing
is
it, and
like
people are already like, okay, but how can I blame
2%.
this on Pokimane? It's like the internet is just such a fucking shit show, guys. Everything's political because everything has to either be left or right leaning. Everything has to be. You cannot make content in the modern day and age without being labeled as one of the two. And with how people on the internet are when it comes to the left versus the right, where if you're on the left, you've got to go after everything on the right and defend everything on the left. And if you're on the right, you've got to go after everything on the left and defend everything on the right. And that extending to people. We can't even all collectively come together to hate on a guy who's admitting to being a predator. We're so fucked.
I'm
Well,
here.
guys, what do you
I'm
think?
here
Does
for it.
Kendrick Lamar need to drop a diss track on
Hi,
Dr.
I'm a
Disrespect?
part of
Is
your
that the only
campaign.
thing that can bring us together? Because if we can't all rally together when a situation that's pretty black and white presents itself, like this is not cancel culture, this is not some sort of baseless hate campaign, this is a guy plainly admitting that he's done this. If we can't come together here, yeah, we're fucking cooked. I mean, let's just pack it up and do
Pretty
a hard
much.
reset on society. Try it again sometime else. This is clearly not working. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
And for now, I was just here picking up a cupcake. No, I'm just playing. I gotta go. Peace.